definitely a top lane Jayce, as that's the Aurelion Sol. Fly is bringing out one of his favorites here for this one. We've got dragons and crocodiles. Oh my god. Such a reptilian draft in the solo lanes. Then the 200 Years classic bottom lane that Afreeca did find a lot of success with at the beginning of the season. And then the classic top lane with the Nidalee support. This is a cool draft out of Afreeca. I actually really like it because you get to use the E out of Aurelion Sol to follow the Twisted Fate. Yes, you get there a little bit later, but he's still able to make his way over there relatively quickly.
So I'm not totally sure on what has really changed inside of the matchup, but the old Aurelion Sol Twisted Fate matchup, Twisted Fate along with Kassadin were considered Aurelion Sol's biggest counters inside of laning phase. So I'm really curious to see how this matchup's going to play out. How does the W nerf affect Twisted Fate, as well as the mini rework that Aurelion Sol did end up getting? But all around, I mean, T1's team composition, it peaks in high school. It is going to 2 items, and then after that, it's all downhill from there. Aphelios, Aurelion Sol, Nidalee, all of these champions just go so much further of a distance than any of T1's, and that's not a very good feeling when you know that T1 often struggles to end early and mid.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the Aurelion Sol does as well. You mentioned that things have changed just a little bit, and one of the reasons YTF was so good against him was because of Pick a Card. And so with that nerf, maybe that's why Fly feels a little bit more comfortable. And oh my god, he's gone full YOLO. We've got the Electrocute Ignite coming through for the Aurelion Sol. He wants to kill Faker.
Well, Faker is going to have Spellbook with Teleport on the Twisted Fate in mid lane, both going for the Corrupting Potion. Meanwhile, up in top lane, the Jayce versus the Renekton is going to be interesting. Cuzz is going to have a lot of very easy gank setups, though, in mid lane, given that Fly does not have Cleanse. So I'm very curious how they're going to play this, and then also, because of AP mid, AP jungle, Faker gets a lot of value out of early Merc Tread Rush, which I imagine he's going to go here.
Yeah, and also Twisted Fate loves buying boots first, so it's not going to hinder his build whatsoever.
Yeah. And I feel like this game is going to boil down to, yet again, another soul point game for T1. And can they race the clock this time around better?
Well, we'll just have to see. We'll see whether Afreeca can get a little bit more priority in this early game. I expect Dread to spend a lot of time on the top side of the map. I like that he's on another aggressive pick. This is definitely in his wheelhouse. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Fly can do on a champion that was definitely a favorite of his for a very long time. Okay. Kiin versus Canna up here. This is expected to go well for the Jayce until theoretically it doesn't after a gank or two. Comes down, culls the Meek. And it'll be fine.
One, not a big deal.
Yeah, it's okay. Not the end of the world.
And we'll see what ends up happening here. Teddy and effort on the Kalista Gragas. It's been a while since we've seen Aphelios, and so you also have to wonder if people have forgotten how to work against him.
Yep, and we'll also see how much Mystic's been playing him since the nerfs as well, whether he's going to be able to mitigate that and understand how to play with a champion that doesn't necessarily work as insanely as he used to. You can see Teddy very comfortable on the Kalista. Always has been. Yeah, he's always just been able to find way more farm on Kalista than anybody else. But Mystic's played a lot of it this season as well, as you can see. Mystic's played a lot of Aphelios also, although the win rate doesn't necessarily show that 200 Years has been on his side. It's been a rough 200 Years, as it turns out.
I mean, the camera keeps panning up to top lane, and Kiin is winning the matchup. Again, it was Canna push to do nothing, the classic, into actually losing more minions on the first 2 waves, and now getting zoned out of the cannon. And Kiin is in control of the Renekton Jayce matchup. That's just a nightmare.
Well, it's been a long time since we had the Aurelion Sol, and last time it was UCal. was half expecting it to have been Fly last time we saw it, as it's him and B2D that are our resident dragons. The Aurelion Sol variety of the dragon, not the Shyvana. We have had one of the Shyvana games. That was Pyoshik. It didn't work out very well this particular season. Fly's most 3. Don't know what that means. It's got the most 3s on this champion, I guess.
Most played?
Or third most played, I think, might have been the translation, but that's okay.
That's totally fine.
I think we somewhat understood what was going on.
I do believe so.
Just to remind you guys, this is match point for Afreeca. This is a best of 3. Wildcard has always been best of 3. And then playoff round 1 is where the best of 5s do begin. That will be in a couple of days, and it will be the winning team here facing off against Gen G. We were asked to do predictions, and I think all of our predictions are going to get ruined because I think everyone said that T1 were going to win 2-0. So we've already screwed it up, and we may be getting it even more wrong if Afreeca are able to win this game with a pretty good draft, as we can see. So far, nothing's really happened. And the Renekton does still need to get ahead, so we're looking to see when Dread is actually going to head up top here and try and help out.
The interesting thing is that normally in Jayce matchups, it's measured by how close you stay to Jayce. And Kiin's ahead in CS right now against this Jayce. He also has a cannon inside of him that Canna does not, and so that's actually more than what the CS score at the bottom would lead you to believe is currently the advantage up in top lane. This should just not be happening up here in top. So Canna, very low on mana. He's only at about 40% right now, or 35%. And Kiin is just in a super comfortable position. This isn't a winning line. Finally, though, double Merc Treads rush coming out for both of the respective mid laners.
Yeah,
the scary
now
thing
level
for T1,
6 is there.
Yeah.
With Faker.
Destiny Gate available, but they're not really manipulating any lane states to be favorable. They're just playing ping pong. And if you're an Afreeca fan, you're feeling really, really good about this.
Well, here on the bottom side, they're not feeling super great, as I believe actually, no, never mind. Mystic's going to be able to even this one out completely with a full minion wave to eat through. But as far as lane priority, not going to quite be there as Fly slinking around this mid lane. As Celestial Expansion working out here as he doesn't find the Star Surge. Getting a bit of practice in on my Aurelion Sol abilities. It's been a while. As there's the flash forward. Cuzz just wants to try and grab this kill. He's going to dive onto Fly. Flash for flash. And I guess that probably works out because Fly, of course, doesn't have teleport, so now he has to go back. We'll probably miss out on a couple of creeps. And now doesn't have flash for a follow-up gank here, potentially from Cuzz.
And you could tell by how Faker seemed to be clicking. He was clicking to the left as Cuzz went in, and then clicked back. Almost as if they just weren't on the same page. If Faker was just able to be there with Flash, Gold Card, or Destiny, Fly would just go down. He doesn't have Cleanse, remember that. So, really strange. And now this is a cannon wave. And so Fly's going to be able to get here. He's not really going to miss anything. In fact, he's going to keep Faker under enormous amounts of pressure, because he's just going to be able to shove this wave back really quickly. So, I don't know what T1's going to really look for here. This isn't a gankable lane state in bottom.
Especially not without
They might try
flash.
to force it.
Well, it's just going to be a back coming in as Mystic finds some Graviton procs. Okay, Cuzz in position. There's an immediate Destiny down towards the bottom side as Cuzz jumps on top of the Aphelios. Ben's going to die as well. A double kill already here for T1, and the first Destiny from Faker works out very, very well.
Well, the Destiny Gate ends up coming down into bottom. And, I mean, Mystic and Ben, I don't know what they're thinking in that spot. Oh, we got another big trick.
Yeah, Fly looking for that Star Surge, but he's not going to be able to find it. The ulti comes out, but that's not enough either. Faker's already here, teleporting in. But they're not going to dive on top of the Aurelion Sol, and he will survive. 3-0, though, and T1 look like they've come online here for game number 2.
Well, all of a sudden, the game has snowballed in T1's favor. Probably see a replay of the bot lane in just a second. Cuzz looks like he's going to start up the Rift Herald. Effort there as well. Teleport coming in from Canna, just to really guarantee that they get this. Now, the gold that they get from the Rift Herald is actually going into the turret in top lane, just in terms of minions and EXP, so not worth for Canna. outright. So even though they pick up the Rift Herald, we'll see what they can manage to actually get with it. Tear of the Goddess picked up on him, so a little bit more of a scaling itemization from the Jayce.
Wants to do as much damage as possible. Seen a bit of this. His effort makes his way back down bot. And they have vision in that brush, but you saw Effort actually didn't want to clear it just yet. I believe Dread was out of vision, as Fake is starting to be able to clear these waves a little bit more effectively with a few points into those wild cards. And now Dread wants to try and help snowball Kiin. Shock Blast clears out the backline of minions, and that means that this wave is just going to keep pushing into Kiin.
Yeah, and it looks like Kiin was looking...
There's the flash forward. They will be able to get the stun. That should be an executed Canna. And this is why this combo is so deadly. Ladies and gentlemen, you decide to kill someone and they die.
And it really did look like Kiin was telling a pretty consistent story with his behavior in lane. And so it seemed like it was really hard for Canna to read that Nidalee could be there. And so now the Renekton getting further and further ahead of the Jayce, which is bad news bears.
Yeah.
But definitely not the end of the world for T1 because of the advantages they accrued elsewhere.
We'll have to see about the scaling factor of the Aphelios. Still does do massive damage if he makes it to the late game. And going to be doing a lot more than what the Kalista will. Let's have a look at this gank once again.
This is the replay. You can see Aphelios could have just pushed the minions and nothing would happen. The wave was coming in. There was no way for T1 to actually dive it. And the worst thing is you know that TF just disappeared. And so the bottom lane should have been respecting it, but they didn't. So Afreeca really blunder, and TF just take advantage. TF comes in with the ultimate, and T1, they just take advantage of it.
It was well played. Afreeca able to get one kill back, and now it's Canna calling for a little bit of support here towards the top side. Cuzz with his ultimate back available. No flash, but we'll be able to turn off this turret, and intelligently, you've got Kiin backing away. Cuzz will be able to put down the Rift Herald if you would like to. As you can see, though, there is a bit of a rotation moving up towards the top side. Remember, Comet of Legend will be able to get Fly in there relatively fast. He moves back into mid. Help clear out this wave. And of course, with these stars hanging around the dragon, he's able to clear out waves quite effectively. As another minion wave now going to be delivered to Kiin, who holds on to that slight minion advantage.
Well, the first mountain dragon going over to Afreeca is a bit worrisome because we mentioned earlier on about how T1 should want to be the team that gets all of the dragons and tries to transition that into a soul point capture. And so for them to having lost that, not super good. The gold score for them is still 1,000. Remember, they do have a 2-kill advantage with a couple of assists as well as Twisted Fate's passive, helping put that score on the board. And Afreeca, though, I'm pretty sure they're sitting pretty. Cuzz is going to come up here. There's still 2 minutes on the plates. He's going to walk over a ward. No one's really able to be there with him.
Yep, you can see a bit of a rotation from the bottom lane as well as Effort and Teddy are making their way in. Remember, Fate's Call is going to be there, so Effort can play very aggressively. They're just going to get a shove out as Cuzz puts down Shelly. And now you got Kiin trying to get some work done. There's a stun as he slices out of the way of the Volibear. Faker gets underneath the turret, though, and this was all too easy. Fly getting in there, but maybe a little bit too late as Dread will be able to kill Shelly at least. As Star Surge comes out, stuns up Faker for a moment, but those Merc Treads doing some work. And Afreeca are going to lose even more gold as the Aurelion Sol has to go back. This is a good power play out from T1 as the Shock Blast barely scratching the behind of the escaping dragon.
And T1 now with almost a 3,000 gold lead have been accrued for them here in game number 2. Twisted Fate looks like he's going for the Zanya's Hourglass, second item here. As Faker does pick up the Seeker's Arm Guard, he does already have the Stopwatch. Perhaps want to just get that item so that he fills up inventory space rather than sitting on Stopwatch for all of eternity. But they should be feeling real comfortable here inside of this game, and we're taking a little glimpse at how Teddy manages to get some CS score as he steals away the golems from Cuzz. But this game is looking pretty stable right now for T1.
Yeah, it's only Dread with any sort of kill for Afreeca. And that was in that topside play that should always happen when it comes to Nidalee and Renekton. You'd expect that one, so we're not going to be too mean to Canna. Falling prey to a Nidalee Renekton gank is something that you should expect. Is now Teddy with the wave in a very nice position here on the bottom side. They did lose one plate from that rotation. And you can see 10 CS advantage here for Mystic. And so, you know, the late game Aphelios win condition still exists for Afreeca. It's not like all the pressure is off, but T1 with that last play have given themselves the largest gold lead that they've had throughout this series so far in 3,000.
Well, we'll see what they can manage to do with it here. Infernal Dragon's coming up in a minute. See if Kalista can manage to recall and get that Blade of the Ruin King.
Alright, Faker coming in. Gold card. Held on to now. Star Surge finds nothing. An effort with a great cask. In goes Dread, but it's only onto Cuzz, and he's very tanky right now. Is the spear going to be avoided by everyone? And with 50 seconds on that Infernal Drake, Fly's going to have to book it to get down here and try and contest. We've got both of our mid laners with Rod of Ages completed. There's Kiin in position as well. Top lane just left to the Wolves, and Canna is going to go back up there and clear things out. So we're going to have a look at this one more time. The top lane gank. So this was a while ago.
Yeah. Quite a long while ago, and I don't know what Kiin was trying to do there. Because Volibear is disabled onto the turret. This one was really strange as well. I don't know what Fly's thinking. So let's give him benefit of the doubt. The Q stuns up the Volibear, Nidalee throws the spear, Volibear goes to 60% HP. That's the sequence of events that ends up unfolding there. So I don't know what Afreeca are really thinking, especially because Cuzz can also react to what they're trying to do. Love the Magi Soul Stealer pickup on Faker, even though he doesn't have a lot of stacks on it. He's going to be able to pick it up pretty quickly. And this is just all around a very powerful buy for the specific point in the game.
Yeah, and it will be this Infernal Drake secured by T1, so one dragon apiece for these teams. It will be Cloud Soul this game, as now Cuzz in the back of the pit does have Flash. Didn't want to use it too quickly, as that's a great body slam once again. Fate's Call to make sure that the Gragas is safe, and he gets that CC onto the Renekton, but he flashes forward, trying to do more, but unfortunately Mystic doesn't have enough damage, and Canna finds him from behind. Dread now trying to pounce his way out as he primally surges, but he's gone straight to the Death Chamber. Jayce picks up the double kill, and it's now 9-1. This game is snowballing out of control for T1.
This game is so far gone for Afreeca at this point. T1 are ahead 6,000 gold, and the Magi's I was just talking about a second ago, the passive's in full effect. He's got 11 stacks on it, and Faker on this TF, really good cast.
Yeah, and a great ulti out of the Aurelion Sol as well, but able to trade 1-for-1 isn't exactly what you want, especially with Faker taking turrets towards the bottom side. That's going to be 3-0 as far as that turret score now, and T1 are going to get the better of the trade once again.
And Faker just going to shove in this final wave here before looking for his reset, and they are just so far ahead inside of this game. They get the Infernal Dragon, and I really like the coordination by them here. Cuzz trying to bait them to come in. They chain the CC together, effort goes over the wall, he knows he's got Ashe Ketchum there to save him, throw him into the Pokeball, back onto Kiin, and no one can follow up. Fly is a sitting duck inside of the Dragon Pit. He can't join. I don't know what Dread's thinking, but he's feeling Dread. Flashes over the wall. Canna follows him, knocks him to the side. Dread tries to get away, gets slowed there by the Jayce. We're below you. We're below you. It's okay. We can back off. We can back off. Look at this. I'm gonna ult you. Nice. Lantern. Aphelios, no flash. I heard Lantern. I might have been completely wrong there, but really nice. My life for Ire there, out of effort.
I love the zealotry. Absolutely fantastic. As T1 going to take down Shirley as well. A bit of a monopoly on these Rift Heralds this game. And as far as the series is concerned, they're now 3-1. And now the Cloud Drake going to be up in 2.5 minutes. Dread just wanting to lock down this blue buff for his dragon. And he will be able to do so. You can see massive gold leads across the board. 3,000 gold ahead for Faker. He is massive. And he has a Magi, so it's even more value. Oh my god.
Well, things are looking pretty good right now if you are a T1 fan. The only sign of good news for Afreeca is that it's Cloud coming up next. Blazing King active used, but they're not going to try to follow up.
You're not looking for anything, as you can see. Behind a little bit is the Renekton in farm, but behind even more when it comes to every other stat. 1 item to the 2 completed for Canna. And he's sitting on an extra longsword as Fly. Let's have an eye above his head there, and he's just looking to clear out this cannon minion and stop the Jayce from pushing any further forward. The Faker's clearing out vision. Shirley pops down. This T1 should be able to continue getting her to shove in towards these turrets. We'll see whether she can get a charge onto an inhibitor turret. As you can see, this is going to confirm the inner 19.5 minutes. Baron will be available in 20 seconds time. And there we go, second charge for Shirley. It's now Afreeca. I mean, they still do have, I guess, theoretically, the 200 years get out of jail free policy. But I don't know whether it's really going to work out as Dread gets over, smites away the big puppy. If that's the consolation prize that you're looking for, it's not exactly going to be enough here as Fly turns the corner. Star Surge not going to find effort. The Aurelion Sol really hasn't done what he needed to.
No. The other bizarre thing is there was never really a point in the game where we ever saw something that made us think, wow, Aurelion Sol, right? So he was locked up in laning phase, had Ignite against okay, well,
he's dead.
Honestly, that's just rude.
Yeah.
When Renekton was around, I don't even think polar bears existed, and so this is just, it's not really fair.
I mean, would he rather fight a mammoth? I mean, actually, Renekton's a crocodile, dude. He's still around. So, I think he'll be fine. He might have been around for longer. But back in his day, it was, things like mammoths and stuff like that.
Okay. Well,
saber-toothed tigers.
Nasus,
Yeah.
Nasus was around in his ear.
I mean, if they're brothers, you'd assume that they were around.
Well, imagine getting yelled at by a giant bird. Yeah,
no, that would suck.
That would
Although he does have a pretty lovely voice. I'm a bit of a fan of how his ear sounds, so it's absolutely. I mean, it's nothing in comparison to Nasus.
Yeah.
Nasus' voice has always been extraordinary. As Cuzz will take down this Cloud Drake, understandably, T1 have complete control of the map. As let's have a look at this gank once again.
본다. 탑 보는 중 우리. 노플이야 노플. 이 빠졌다. 노플이면 잡았어 이거. 노플이야.
Yes, no flash.
노플 확실. 잡았어. 탈진대 나. 레넥 용대 노공 이러면. 탈진대.
Didn't even need the exhaust, as it turned out. As now Mystic is being discovered. Oh, sidesteps by accident, but it doesn't actually matter. Canna, to the skies, going to send everyone to the skies as this game is over, guys. Dread going to be taken down. Ben quick to follow. A double kill for the Jayce. That's a triple, I believe.
I'd be really surprised if we don't have a mature audience rating pop up on the screen. I'm not totally sure. This is looking a little bit TOS here in game number 2.
Very much. 15 stacks onto the Magi's here for Faker, as we're going to go into a replay once again while they take down the Baron. Look at this accidental sidestep for Mystic. That was cute.
Yeah, I mean,
he's still dead.
Canna, he doesn't even need any damage inside of this game. Dread just gets completely clown bopped there by the Gragas. Nautilus shortly thereafter following, and I don't know what to say. Really, Atlas, this game is just, I don't know. 11,000 gold advantage at 22 minutes is absolutely insane. This is looking like a Damwon game almost.
It certainly is feeling like that. And T1 aren't letting off the gas at this point in time. They do have the Baron buff. It is getting spread, well, at least in a couple of seconds, spread between 3 lanes. As Kalista will make short work of the bottom lane. Cuzz going to send this minion wave towards the injured inhibitor turret in mid. And you can see Canna shoving in towards the top side. Cuzz rotation over. And they're trying to get a bit of a siege happening onto this inner turret. As these minions are going to conga line through. There's the Destiny. Just to make sure that there's no one waiting to gank them. And Canna says, well, I guess we'll take down this inner turret. And Faker's going to agree. They run out of minions. So they're not going to be able to continue pushing to the inhibitor. Afreeca are bleeding gold. They're not able to get into their jungle. This blue buff is going to be delivered over to T1. And that's just more and more money and buffs that Afreeca won't be able to get towards. Do have 2 items now completed for Mystic. So I guess there's that, but we're almost up to 3 for Teddy. He is very, very strong.
I mean, I don't know what Afreeca's out is inside of this game as well. We're mentioning 200 years. I don't think even 200 years.
We might need like 700 years.
So 400 years. Well,
yeah.
Fortunately, Yone's disabled. So we won't be seeing him here inside of this game. As it just looks like this is a pretty standard 1-1-3 here.
Yeah, with Cuzz floating to the lanes that are getting pressured. Top inhibitor turret is going to go down. Fake is going to be able to grab the inhibitor in mid while Canna gets to work on the top side. Afreeca were distracted with, you know, Teddy and co on this bottom side, but they're going to be losing the majority of their base here, and there's just nowhere for Afreeca to go. They're going to have to actually start some sort of fight as Fly readying up the Comet of Legend.
I think he's talking to Boris.
Yeah, well, he's going to charge up this Star Surge and see what he can get done here. As we'll see what the stun is actually going to be able to do. It does nothing. The Aphelios is obliterated as now Kiin trying to get on top of Teddy, who's just bouncing around. He will be saved, but the spear connects, so they lose the Kalista. But it doesn't really matter, guys. This is still probably going to be the end of the game as Kiin just launching himself after Effort, but Effort not too worried as the Shock Blast just the side is going to connect, and that's going to be the end of the game at 25.5 minutes. T1 clap back completely against Afreeca. Welcome back, Faker. We've missed you. This is his first